Okay, this will be a shorter video, but I just want to talk about this phrase people like to use. They say it's just human nature, right? And well, you could be talking about violence, maybe war. You could be talking about greedy behaviors, the wealth disparity, and people will say, well, all of these things are just part of human nature, and in doing so, you excuse those behaviors. And what does this do? Well, if you justify behaviors, harmful behaviors, because we did those behaviors in the past, then you're basically creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're telling yourself that we can't change, and in effect, you're kind of taking your free will and you're just throwing it away. That's what you're doing. And the thing is like, if you are conscious, then the point of your consciousness is to if you believe that you do have free will, the point of your consciousness is to help you exercise that free will. It's to help you take control of your behaviors in order to fix the bad behaviors that lead to war, the bad behaviors that lead to poverty, and those behaviors again are violence and greed, right? The bottom line is that when you justify other people's bad behaviors because they happened in the past, because people behaved that way in the past, you are just justifying your own bad behaviors. And if you do that, you're creating, you're basically porting the past into the future, just because you look at history and you think it has to repeat itself. Again, it's like tossing away your free will. Do you want to be somebody who believes that they are making a difference, or are you just a determinist? Do you believe the universe is deterministic and that there's nothing you can do, and in effect you're just on a ride that you have no control over? Now here's the thing though. By and large, humanity is peaceful, right? If you look at the 8 billion or so people in the world, put 100 random people in a room, most of them are going to be peaceful, because they see that peace is mutually beneficial for everyone in that room, right? Now there may be a few violent people, and what happens? Well, we typically put them in jail, right? Or we lock them up, we separate them from the people who want to be peaceful. So the problem here is that peace is also in human nature, okay? The desire for equality is also in human nature. And if you constantly look at the bad behaviors and only justify those and forget about the overwhelming good behaviors, then you're kind of fooling yourself, right? You're making yourself believe that the world is all doom and gloom, when in reality it's not. And if you do make yourself believe that, if you do fool yourself into believing that the world is doom and gloom and that violence is the foundation, then you're going to end up being the one who contributes to that violence, whether directly or indirectly, okay? Whether you're actually being violent, or whether you're complacent to the violence. And the way you be complacent to violence is by electing politicians who constantly, are at war, right? And paying taxes to fund those wars. That's the difference between somebody who is conscious, someone who's consciously thinking about how their behaviors affect the world, and somebody who is handing their free will and just taking their free will and just throwing it away. It's like, if we make these excuses to ourselves, we justify more of the same, okay? And again, most people are peaceful, and they just don't quite understand how their behaviors are indirectly affecting other people, right? How your tax dollars indirectly start wars or pay for wars. So just give that a little thought, okay? You have to think, you have to be conscious, okay? That it's hard to be conscious in a world with so many distractions, right? And oftentimes when we do think a lot, maybe we get anxiety, right? We start getting fearful about the future. But again, anxiety is fear about some future event occurring, right? That's what anxiety is. So If instead you try to manifest, you try to think about about a peaceful future, you try to think about equality, then what's going to happen is you're going to manifest that into the world. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy both ways. You can either believe that peace is going to manifest, or you can believe that violence is going to manifest. And whatever you choose to believe is going to manifest will manifest, because your behaviors will reflect your thoughts. Okay, and that's how reality works. When you think about something a lot, your brain naturally creates strategies to make that thing happen. And you have to control your thoughts. You have to become conscious of what you're thinking. And again, there's a lot of distractions. Okay, you can watch YouTube shorts forever. Okay, they'll keep throwing them at you. You can watch TV shows, and you know what? Some art, like TV shows and music, some of it's inspiring, and some of it, maybe less so. Some of it, maybe you're just watching it mindlessly rather than thinking about the deeper messages that art is trying to send you. And the truth is the artists that write TV shows, write books, that write music, they are often trying to send deeper messages than it is directly obvious on the surface. And if you're not conscious of that, then you're kind of just being distracted and probably not very conscious of how you are contributing to bad behaviors. And again, if you're too conscious, maybe you get a little anxious, but just take a breath, breathe, and think about a peaceful future rather than whatever happens to be giving you anxiety at the time. And if we collectively do that, if every single individual does that collectively, we manifest peace, we manifest equality, and we get rid of all of these things that are supposedly human nature, even though, again, there's a lot of things that we have done in the past. Okay, just about anything you could think of can be defined as human nature. We have the choice to choose which ones are, which parts of that human nature is prominent in the future, though. And if we give that choice up, again, we're giving up our free will. So just give that a little thought. Thanks for watching.